Now on the Suze Orman Show, the big mistakes that will derail your future.
These are the things that you have to watch out for.
Plus, a Suze follow-up.
Before I went on the show, I had about $17,000 in credit card debt.
So did Anna follow her action plan?
And I was like, she's totally gonna yell at me.
I noticed you didn't do one thing that I asked you to do.
And you ask Suze, can I afford it?
It goes from Amsterdam down to Switzerland, and just looks like a fabulous way to see Europe.
Are you kidding? Hi everybody, I'm Suze Orman and you are watching the Suze Orman Show. Tonight, I want to begin with the 8 biggest mistakes that will derail your future. Listen to me. Personal finance is personal to each and every one of you, but there are some things out there that pertain to every single one watching right now. And these are the things that you have to watch out for, because maybe you won't make the mistake right now, but down the line you might. So let's go over what these 8 things are, because they will affect you sometime in your life if you make them. Ready? The first thing that will derail your future is very simple, where you take out too much of a student loan. Now, student loans, you know how I feel about student loans. They are not, in most cases, dischargeable in bankruptcy. So if you take out too big of a loan that you cannot pay back, that is going to haunt you forever. It will keep you from possibly buying a home, putting money in retirement accounts. It will absolutely derail your future. So be careful and don't do that. Next, you get yourself in trouble and you get yourself into credit card debt. Okay, mistake. But the bigger mistake you make is you only pay the minimum amount due every single month on that card. If you do so, it's going to take you years to get out of credit card debt, and therefore you're going to be paying more and more in interest, and then you won't be making your money work hard for you. Your money is working for the credit card companies. That will derail your future. Next, you have credit card debt. You have all kinds of things going and you think you're going to be smart and you're going to pay your bills by doing what? Taking a loan from your retirement account. Don't you dare take a loan from a 401k or any retirement account. That is one of the biggest mistakes you will ever make. Keeping your money in that account for you to use in retirement is the goal of that account. If you take a loan now, you will most likely derail your future. Next, buying too much of a home. I know you all have a goal of being a homeowner, or a lot of you do anyway, but the mistake that you make is you buy too large of a home, too expensive of a home. Then something happens and you can't afford the mortgage payment, the property taxes are too much, everything starts to go wrong, and that derails your future. Just buy a home that you need, that is small and tiny. That's what I do. That's what you should do. One of the biggest mistakes that will absolutely derail your future is co-signing a loan for somebody else. Under no circumstances. I don't care if it's your son, your daughter, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. I don't care. Never, ever co-sign a loan for anybody, because if they stop making the payments, you're going to have to make those payments. If you don't know that they've stopped making the payments, it ruins your FICO score, and there goes your future. Everything costs you more. Another serious mistake is not having a living revocable trust. I don't care how much money you have, how little you have, not having a living revocable trust is a serious mistake. It will help you in case of an incapacity. It will help you later on. It will pass your assets down to your children or your beneficiaries free of probate. It will be a serious mistake if you don't have one. And not getting long-term care insurance is right up there on the list. You've worked hard. You've saved all this money. You have all this money in retirement accounts. And then what happens? You get older and you end up in a nursing home. Health insurance does not pay for a nursing home stay. And what do? You have to start taking money out of your retirement accounts to pay for the nursing home stay. It's just a mess. Get long-term care insurance when you're in your 50s, 60s, the latest, and that will help you big time. And last mistake is this. Saying yes when you want to say no. Especially the women out there. Do not derail your own financial future because you are afraid to say no to somebody. Say no out of love for yourself versus yes out of fear that somebody else isn't going to like you. Got it? Now to a Suze follow-up. I know some of you roll your eyes when I say power attracts money and powerlessness repels it, but this is a law of money that can't be ignored. Take a look at what's happened to Anna since she was here.
Hi Suze, remember me? It's Anna, 31 years old, checking in just to show you a little bit about what I've been doing since we last spoke.
What is it that you really want to know tonight?
I had a little bit of anxiety because I didn't know what it was going to be like, obviously. And I was like, she's totally going to yell at me. The first thing that I knew she was going to tell me to do is to get rid of my Jeep.
Why you bought such a big car that accounts for a big portion of your monthly take-home is beyond me. I want you to sell your car.
The monthly payments were high, you know, and are still high because that was the one piece that I just couldn't let go of. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, remote start, all these little luxuries that I don't necessarily need. She gave me, you know, a firm directive and said, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? But in a way that was so endearing.
We're going to cut $250 a month from eating out. You still can eat out, but you're going to cut $250 there. And we're going to cut $100 a month from what? You drinking, your alcohol. You don't need to spend that much money on alcohol per month.
It hasn't always been easy to follow the plan that she's given me. I've had to say no to some things that I wouldn't have before. I use an application, I track all of my expenses, everything's categorized so I can see how much I'm spending. It keeps me on track throughout the month, and then it shows me how much I'm saving, which has been in the green almost every single month, so I'm thrilled about that. Before I went on the show, I had about $17,000 in credit card debt. I remember sitting in the chair.
8.5 months, you would be out of credit card debt.
And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how? That's crazy. I can't imagine. Now I have just around $3,000 in credit card debt. I'm almost done. Suze, I am so grateful to you. I left your show. I said I was going to be a success story. I feel like I've done that in every way. You told me I would feel empowered, and I do.
Your life has changed quite dramatically over this time since you were here last. Are you surprised at how different you feel and what's going on in your life at this point in time?
Surprised, maybe a little bit. I'm mostly just excited. I feel so much better, relieved.
And are you able to look at this and see how you were the one who put yourself in that situation to begin with, and you're the one that got yourself out of it? Nobody did it for you. I didn't do it for you. You did it totally on your own.
I am, yeah. It makes me pretty proud.
Yeah. You know, the greatest thing that I love about you coming back is that there is one thing that I say on the Suze Orman Show, and I have said this since the very first show that I've ever done here, which is the major law of money, which is power attracts money, powerlessness repels it. And I know I talked to you about that last time you were here. Did you ever in your wildest dream imagine that when you would pay down your debt and you became more powerful, that you would get a pay raise?
I think I deserved that pay raise anyway, but I definitely think that I felt a lot better. Less stress overall, so I was able to do a better job at work. So yes.
And didn't they also just give you a trip to Bali, and so you got to have that vacation as well?
I did, yep. I won a trip at work.
Do you in your own mind think that that would have happened whether you had gotten out of debt or not?
It's hard to say. I mean, my work performance definitely got better because I was feeling better, feeling less stressed, feeling less restricted all the time. So generally waking up and like you say, feeling more powerful and empowered to just do a better job altogether. So it's hard to say, but one
it isn't hard to say because you just said it. When you get out of debt and you get control over your money, you have more energy, you have more power, and you do a better job at work. And because you do a better job at work, people recognize you and reward you for doing so.
Absolutely.
And everybody, that's how it works. So let's just take an actual look at the numbers so all of you can see how Anna has really, really done. Last time she was here, her income was $6,600 a month. It's now $6,900 a month. Her expenses, however, were almost $6,600 a month, and now they're about $5,300 a month. So we had only $22 in excess last time. We have $1,600 in excess right now per month. But where is that money going? I just want to show you what's happened to her credit card debt so you understand. Last time she was here, she had $17,000 in credit card debt. Look at the face you just made as I said that. Oh my goodness. Right, and now you only have $2,500 of credit card debt left. Your car loan has gone down about $10,000, and your student loans have gone down about $1,500. That is tremendous, tremendous progress. Now, I noticed you didn't do one thing that I asked you to do.
Yeah.
You did everything else. You even did more. You move out, you get a cheaper apartment, but you weren't emotionally able to part with your car.
Yep.
Your car. Why is that?
You know, I think when we talked about last time, I felt like I really had really wanted it and kind of deserved to have it because I hadn't had a car in a really long time. And I saved for it a little bit. I put some money into it when I bought it, and I just felt like the investment I had already made, I'd lose a lot of money. So I opted to lower some other areas in terms of spending so that I could still accommodate and keep it.
So I get that. All right. So I'm not coming down on you for anything because you have done great.
Thanks.
Where else do you feel you need a little tweaking from me?
I mean, now that I've built like better habits, I know a little bit more about what's reasonable for me to spend, what I need, what I don't need. Once I get this extra $2,500 paid off, which is going to be awesome, I just want to make sure that I'm kind of continuing to carry those habits forward and take that excess money that I didn't have before and make sure that I'm continuing to spend that wisely and put it in the right places so that it benefits me down the road.
And how old are you now?
31.
You're 31. And the only thing that I could see when I look at all your paperwork is you aren't putting money into a retirement account. Mm-hmm. And at 31, that is about the biggest mistake you could make because these are the years that are called your compounding years. The longer your money has to work for you, the more the money that you put in and the money it earns starts to earn money, and it all starts to compound, and it just skyrockets by the time you're old like me. So it's really important that you do that. How much are you paying per month towards your credit card debt right now?
Usually about $1,500 a month.
So in just a few months, you are out of credit card debt. You now have enough money to do two things. You can fully fund your Roth IRA. So the most you can put in per year is $5,500 a year. So you can fully fund that, and you can do that every single month, or if you want to do it up front, however you want to do it, you can do that. And then you can take the additional money and start to build up your emergency fund. So then in case anything went wrong, you would feel that you have more money there. So once you have those two things down, then you can move to the next step, whatever that may be. Save for a home, paying down your student loan debt. You'll decide at that time.
Awesome.
Anna, thanks so much for coming back on the Suze Orman Show. I hope everybody watching Anna has hope. When she came here, she felt hopeless. She felt she was drowning. I remember you kept saying you were drowning. Yeah. Now she feels like she is swimming her way to financial freedom. Girlfriend, I'm proud of you, even though you kept the car.
Thank you so much.
Up next, a daughter's wedding.
The problem is I just don't have a lot to give her.
A mother under pressure.
I end up not sleeping at night because I think I'm not a good mother.
And later, you ask Suze, can I afford it?
A lot of the newer games that are coming out for these consoles, like they're more powerful and have better graphics, so I need to upgrade.
You need, what you should have said is, I want to. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Let's go to Betty in California. Ask me your question.
Hi, Susie. Love your show. Here's my issue. my daughter's getting married and asked me how much I could contribute to her wedding. And the problem is I just don't have a lot to give her. So I end up not sleeping at night because I think I'm not a good mother. And the wedding's going to be out of town on top of everything else, so I'll have expenses related to that.
And so when she asked you this question, I just have to ask you, Betty, when she asked you that question, were you able to be honest with her and say, honey, I love you so much, but I don't have any money to give you?
She knows my financial situation, which to a young person probably looks better than it is. I would like to convince her that maybe in a lavish wedding isn't the way to go.
And how much did you tell her you would give her?
Well, I told her I'd buy her dress and the cake, and I'd have my expenses, and then I'd have to see. But she's pressuring, like she said, Mom, I need a budget. Everything says it needs a budget.
All right, so let's give her a budget. Can you afford $1,000, $2,000? How
I
much?
can probably afford $3,000 or $4,000.
All right, if you can afford easily, do you have any credit card debt, by the way?
No.
No, do you
I
have
no debt.
You have an 8-month.
But I am retired.
You're retired. Do you have an 8-month emergency fund?
Yes.
So you have everything okay, but you could easily, without affecting your future on any level, you could easily afford $3,000 or $4,000, correct?
Well, I don't know if I could afford it on a Susie level, but,
well, but
I feel like I can.
All right, so
I feel like I can.
On a
yes.
Susie level, could you afford $2,000?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's do the Susie level. Listen to me, Betty. You do not do your daughter a favor by passing along bad financial habits where you say yes out of fear of what somebody will think of you and you being a bad mother versus no out of love for yourself. And if you can teach your daughter that, then one day she may be in the same position as you, where her child comes to her and she might not have the money, so she just simply says no as well, because you taught her good behavior versus being a financial faker. If I were you, I would tell her, you want a budget? Here's all I can do, $2,000. So you figure out how to do everything with $2,000, my daughter, because that's all I am going to give you. And stop losing sleep over it, because you are a good mother, not a bad one. Donna from Florida, what do you need to know?
Hi, Susie. First of all, my mother adores you. She won't listen to my advice, but I'm hoping she's going to listen to yours.
All right, let's see what I can do.
She's 89 years old, as is my father. They live pretty comfortably on Social Security and dividends. They have all of their cash, about over $600,000, in 2 stocks, each yielding 5%. And I'm thinking that they should diversify their portfolio a bit and so they have available cash on hand in case there's an emergency. And I was wondering what you thought about that, and maybe you could advise.
Yeah, I think it's very, very dangerous to have 2 stocks that comprise your entire stock portfolio, which means each stock has 50% of all of your money in it. There is a Susie rule that I would never put more than 4% of my investable assets in one stock. So you would need about 25 stocks, believe it or not, to make up 100% of a stock portfolio. And that would give me diversification, because the last thing you want is for 50% of their money to be in some stock that goes totally down the drain. And it can happen. Large companies can go wrong. Something can happen with them and they take a dive. They then start to get rid of the dividend, and now they're in trouble. So here's what I would say. Mom, Dad, I love that you love watching the show every Saturday night, but it is not smart for you to have all your money in just 2 stocks. So listen to Donna, listen to me. We need diversification here so you are safe. Can you do that for me? Let's go to Carl, coming to us from Utah. Go for it.
Good evening, Susie. So I was calling in regards. I have been married to my partner for the last 2 years. And initially, we set everything up to where we split everything 50-50. But my partner makes double what I make, and now it's starting to cause me some financial hardships. And I'm trying to figure out what's the best way for us to make it fair for both of us.
Yeah. I've answered, Carl, this question many, many times over all of these years, and it's always the same. You never divide things equally, like 50-50. You divide things by the equal percentages for yourself. So, Carl, let me just ask you a few questions, and then I will give you the formula that you can use that I think makes sense. How much do you bring home every single month after taxes?
About $1,800.
Great. And how much does he bring home every single month after taxes?
I would say about $4,500.
All right. And how much are your joint expenses every single month?
Our joint expenses are around $1,200.
All right, so currently right now, the way that you're probably doing it is with these joint expenses, you contribute $600, which is a good percentage of your $1,800, and he contributes $600, which is a far lesser percentage of his $4,500, correct?
Yes.
All right, so here's what I want you to do. You add together what you bring home to what he brings home. $1,800, $4,500, you add those together, and that's $6,300. Then you divide your joint expenses, which is $1,200, by $6,300, and you're going to come up with something like 19 or 20%. You then would take 20% of your $1,800, which is like $360. You would then take close to 19 or 20% of his $4,500, which is $900. And those two numbers together equal your $1,200. So it's equal percentages, but different amounts of money. Do you understand? So you're each paying 20% into your joint expenses, and that makes it equal. So that's what I would be doing if I were you.
Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
We've got great location. We're close to schools and parks and the downtown. And
sounds to me like you're trying to talk yourself into spending $150,000.
And a college trip of a lifetime.
I've never been out of the country and think this would be an amazing experience.
Are you ready for this? You're sitting down?
I'm sitting down.
What do you want to buy?
Viking River Cruise.
PlayStation 4 gaming console.
Renovate our house.
Time for Can I Afford It? This is where you call in. You tell me what it is that you want to buy. I ask you a few questions, and then I tell you if you can afford it or not. Are you ready? Let's start. Carol, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I'm so excited to be speaking with you. For our 15th wedding anniversary, my husband and I want to take an 8-day Viking River cruise called the Rhine Getaway. It goes from Amsterdam down to Switzerland, and just looks like a fabulous way to see Europe.
And you know, you have to do your research, because when the tides are up and down and depending on the water situation, you can get stuck on one of those things in one position, and because it can't get over the bridges. You better do your research before you do this, just so you know. But girlfriend, show me the money.
All right. Our take-home income is $9,596 a month. Our expenses are $7,976 a month. Our only debt is that we owe $348,000 on a 30-year fixed mortgage, and we have a personal loan of $25,000 at 0%.
Great. You are looking good, girlfriend. Keep going. What do you got in savings?
In savings, we have $34,000 in liquid, $4,500 in investments, and $134,000 in retirement, and $41,000 in our college plan.
Great. How are you going to pay for this?
Well, I've already set aside $2,000 from my husband's recent bonus. I have some travel points on some credit cards that I'm hoping will cover the airfare, which would be about $2,000. And I'll just save up the remainder for just the next few months, probably paying a little less on the personal loan that we're paying back.
I got it. All right, so you are denied. Oh, yeah. And the reason you're denied is you are 49 years of age. You are so short on your retirement accounts. I can't even tell you. You are way short on your emergency fund by a lot. You have a personal loan outstanding. Are you kidding? You cannot afford it. Joseph, what do you want to buy?
Hi there, Susie. I want to know if I could buy a PlayStation 4 gaming console. A lot of the newer games that are coming out for these consoles, like, they're more powerful and have better graphics, so I need to upgrade my system to the latest technology in order to play them.
Did you hear what you just said, Joseph? You just said you need to upgrade for the latest technology. You need. What you should have said is, I want to. Because you don't need to play games ever. You don't need to do that.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, I usually make a good point. Show me the money.
All right. For my take-home pay, it is $4,955 a month. My expenses are $1,634 a month. The only debt I have is a 30-year fixed mortgage at $151,000. And in savings, I have $48,000 in liquid, and in retirement, $36,000.
And how are you going to pay for this?
I was just going to pay out of liquid savings.
Approved, boyfriend. Whether I think it's wise or not doesn't matter. You are doing great given where you are at the age of 32. Oh, go have fun since you need to do so. Ella, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. We would like to put an addition or renovate our house to give us some more living space, update our kitchen, and add a master bathroom that we don't have. We've been in our house now 5 years, and we knew this was coming soon, that we'd have to make some kind of decision of what we want to do. We love our neighborhood, though, and we don't want to move and lose that. We've got great location. We're close to schools and parks and the downtown. And
sounds to me like you're trying to talk yourself into spending $150,000. $150,000, which means it's at least $200,000. You know that.
Right. It could be more. Yes.
All right. Show me the money.
All right. So our take-home pay is $7,875 a month. Our expenses are $4,546 a month. We have $229,000 left on a 30-year fixed mortgage. And in savings, we have $49,000 in liquid, $270,000 in investments, and $351,000 in retirement, and then also $102,000 in 529 college plan.
All right, so I'm looking at $49,000 in an emergency fund that's liquid, and you need at least $40,000 in there. So you have only $9,000 extra in that account. Where are you going to get $150,000 from?
Right. So we are still probably 6 to 9 months away from doing anything. So we're going to continue to save, and take as much as we can out of the liquid savings, but leave our emergency fund. But most of it would come from selling our investments.
So you're going to sell investments to put $150,000 into your home. You are approved.
Oh.
Okay. Are you surprised at that? The reason that I've approved you is you're going from an investment in the market to an added investment in your home. So I'm going from investment to investment. You have enough money there to do everything you need without touching your emergency fund. At 32, girlfriend, go ahead and go for it. Jessica, are you out there? What do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I'm a junior in college, and I have the opportunity to go on a trip to England, Scotland, and Wales through my college. I've never been out of the country and think this would be an amazing experience. It's going to cost $4,200, and that includes everything, including spending money.
Spending money. Go on. So keep going. What were you going to say?
I would also receive 2 credits for school.
So this does count towards school, but can you imagine being your age, going to all the way there and seeing all this with your friends and everything? Show me the money.
All right. My take home during the school year is $657 a month. I make more in the summer because I work about 60 hours a week then. My expenses are $650 a month, and that includes my $250 a month for rent. I have no debt, not even student loans, and I have $13K in liquid.
And how are you going to pay for this?
I was going to pay for it with my liquid, my savings.
Yeah, so that brings your liquid down considerably. Do you have any idea which way I'm going to go?
No.
No. All right. Are you ready for this? You're sitting down?
I'm sitting down.
Because I know you really want to do this. But sweetheart, you obviously are going to take almost, 40% of your liquid, whatever it is, you are approved. Are you shocked at that? And because at the age of 20 here, with no student loan debt, you're doing all right. If you're ever going to do something like it, now is the time. Go for it. Want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you will find the information you need to know there to come and play with me right here. And if we choose you to be on the air, Robo-Man. Do you ever wonder why I call him Robo-Man? It's because he used to run the robotic cameras here. Anyway, we will send you a T-shirt with my decision on it just for you.
Next, the smartest way to save an emergency fund. And later, a travel professional has a 10-year timeline.
The first trip on my bucket list is Australia, so I can climb the Sydney Harbour Bridge on my birthday.
I've looked at that bridge and I thought about climbing it, and then I went, I don't think so. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Here we are in the control room at CNBC headquarters. So many ways for you to be part of the Suze Orman Show. Take a look at your screen. You can send in an email, join me on Facebook, or if you send in a tweet and put hashtag Ask Suze, it comes to us right here, and if we choose it, your tweet will be on the air. Let's see what's trending right now. We have at Stay Just a Little, a 25-year-old wants to start a Roth, needs $10,000 of an emergency for an 8-month rule. Can I equally fund, or must I get my EF done first? Listen, everybody. In a Roth IRA, any money that you originally put in, you can take out at any time, regardless of your age or how long it's been in there, without any taxes or penalties whatsoever. So you can absolutely, and you should, fund in an emergency fund through a Roth IRA, but you have got to leave that money in the Roth safe and sound, not investing it. So in case something happens, you can get at it. So you can do both in this particular situation. Let's see what else is trending. We have at SK Bowers, I am 56 and husband retired is 68, both in generally good health. Is it too late to get long-term care insurance? It's not too late as long as, number one, you can afford it, because remember, the older you get when it comes to long-term care insurance, the more your premiums will be. Once you buy it, they should stay stable or maybe increase a little bit over the years that you have it. So you have to know that you can afford it not only right now, but you can afford it all the way until you're 84 years of age, which is the average age of entry into a nursing home. You also have to be healthy. So if you are in good health and you can afford it, absolutely go ahead and buy it. Let's go to webcam right now. We're going to California. Tyron, is it your birthday today?
It is my birthday, Susie.
Oh, happy birthday, big boy. How old are you?
I'm 28 today.
Oh, the good old years back then. What is your question?
I've been saving money for the past 5 years and finally have enough to pay off all of my student loan debt, which is currently around $100,000 at approximately a 5% interest rate. I also recently got married, and we're thinking about buying a new house, and using some of those savings for a down payment could really come in handy. So we've set our initial home buying budget at around $500,000, and we were wondering what you would recommend that we do.
Yeah. With $100,000 of student loans, it's obvious that you have to have private student loans along with federal student loans. So you have a combination of both of them. It is a known fact that Suze Orman hates private student loans. Why? Because interest rates can go up to anything they want to take you. So those are student loans that are really, really, really dangerous. On the other hand, you have real estate right now that is starting to slow down a little bit. Interest rates are still good, but if you want to buy a home, that's really a good investment too. So here's what I would tell you. Do not do all or nothing. Why can't you do a little bit of each? Why not take some of this money that you have to pay off your student loans? You're only 28 years of age. You're really still young, and pay off all of your private student loans. Get rid of them completely. Whatever is left, that is money that can go for a down payment on a home. That way you can do both of those things. And if you do that, I think you'll find you will have made the right decision. Happy birthday, sweetheart. All right, everybody, let's go back to the studio, and here's what's coming up next.
Tina asks Suze,
how am I doing?
What grade would you give yourself?
Suze, I think I've done a pretty good job. I'd probably give myself a B+.
So here is the bottom line.
And later, test your money smarts in Suze's Pop Money Quiz.
People first, then money. You're on the air. You're going to see now what happens when we send out our Suze Cam, our cameras to the streets of New York to see what you look like, to see what you want to ask me, to see what I answer. Let's take a look.
Hi, Suze. This is Richard from Columbus, Ohio, and I was wondering if it's better to lease a vehicle or finance a new vehicle.
You obviously, my dear Richard, or should I call you Dick, not watch the Suze Orman Show. Leasing a car, in my opinion, is the absolute stupidest move that most of you can ever make, bar none. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Suze. I'm 55 and single. I just lost my 95-year-old dad to Alzheimer's after being his caretaker for 15 years. Since I have no immediate family, I need to make sure I'm on the right financial track. My goal is to retire at 65, and since I work in the travel industry, I want to continue doing what I love, traveling, photography, and blogging, so I can share my adventures. The first trip on my bucket list is Australia, so I can climb the Sydney Harbour Bridge on my birthday. Suze, how am I doing?
Tina, welcome to the Suze Orman Show.
Thanks, Suze. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah, you know, I've been to Sydney and I've looked at that bridge and I thought about climbing it, and then I went, I don't think so.
Oh,
but anyway,
I've got
to. I could have, but I don't got to because I didn't. But anyway, let's see. So you are 55 years of age. You want to retire in 10 years. If you were going to do exactly what you're doing right now for the rest of those 10 years, can you retire in 10 years? What grade would you give yourself?
Suze, I think I've done a pretty good job. I'd probably give myself a B+.
All right, a B+. Let's show everybody your numbers, and then I'll tell you what I would give you. You are 55, single. You have in retirement about $472,000. You have $60,000 in an emergency fund. You have $115,000 in investments, $220,000 current home value. But what's so great about that is you have no consumer debt, no mortgage debt. So you have a net worth of $868,000. Your take-home income to your expenses are as follows. You take home $3,100 a month. Your monthly expenses are $1,873, so you have excess of about $1,227 a month. You do invest that excess in retirement accounts and things like that. So when it's all said and done, you have about $146 a month that you just do whatever you want with it. So here is the bottom line. If I was to give you a grade, which I am going to, I would give you an A-.
Yay!
Yay, that's what I think. And here's the reason why. Currently, while your monthly expenses may be only $1,873 a month, after you retire, you're going to have to pay for long-term care insurance, your health insurance, all these other expenses. So I've given you a goal of $3,000 a month in expenses. So when you look at all of your investments and taking the after-tax income from what those investments will give you in 10 years from now, I come come up with $3,412 a month after taxes. So you're at an excess there, and that doesn't even include Social Security. Now, I gave you an A minus. So why didn't I give you an A? Well, I will show you your way to an A right now. First of all, I want you to get long-term care insurance because that is the one thing that could derail you later on in life. I want you to invest some of the money that's in your emergency fund so that you get a higher yield on it and it can grow for you, even then adding to your wealth as you get older here. I want you to collect Social Security at 70. You do not need to collect it before then because you're doing so great with what you have. And one last tweak. You could afford to be a little bit more generous with your donations and the money that you give. You do all of that, girlfriend, and you will feel really great about your life.
Up next, one more thing Suze wants you to know.
There is one thing that you can really do to make sure that your future is okay. Time to test your money smarts in a Suze Pop Money Quiz. When does it make sense to refinance your home without extending the loan term? A, if mortgage rates are 2.5% below what you are currently paying. B, if mortgage rates are 1% below what you are currently paying. C, if you'll live in the house long enough to recoup the refinance closing costs. And D, always as long as you can lower your monthly payment. The answer after the break. Before the break, I asked, when does it make sense to refinance your home without extending the loan term? The answer is C, if you'll live in the house long enough to recoup the refinance closing costs. It's almost a wrap on the Suze Orman Show, but before we go, there's still one more thing I want you to know. Earlier tonight, I started tonight's program with 8 mistakes that will derail your future. But there is one thing that you can really do to make sure that your future is okay, and that is to make sure that you save for your retirement in retirement accounts. Now, with that said, there are changes that I just want you to know about, and they will affect 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, 457s. They will affect all of those plans, and it's just this simple. Wait a minute now. Let me tell you the new amounts. If you are under 50, you can put up to a total of $23,500 in. But if you are 50 or older, that amount goes up to $31,000. Are you kidding me? For those of you who are between 60 and 63, guess what? You can put in $34,750. Take advantage of it, my friends. Now, many of those accounts where you work also offer a Roth 401k, a Roth TSP, a Roth 403b. If they offer that, I want you to take advantage of that. And if you can put those large sums of money into it, the better off you will be. Now you know. So until next week, there's only one thing that I really want you to remember when it comes to your money, and it is this. People first, then money, then things. Now you stay safe. Bye-bye.